The most detailed summary of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is not merely a continuation of the story about the boy who lived. It's a significantly deeper and darker second installment in J.K. Rowling's epic 7-book saga about Harry Potter. This novel transitions from a simple children's tale to an exploration of complex and often painful themes. The trials of friendship, unwavering courage, the necessity of self-sacrifice, and the relentless struggle against evil. The book is saturated with captivating mysteries, intricate intrigues, chilling events, and perilous adventures that force the main characters Harry, Ron, and Hermione to rapidly mature as they come face to face with a darker, more sinister side of the wizarding world, which until this point had only been a distant echo for them. Summer holidays in Dursley's prison and Dobby's mysterious warning. Harry's summer holidays, as usual, turn into a true ordeal, as he once again finds himself in the suffocating and grim house of his dreadful relatives, the Dursleys, residing at number 4, Privet Drive, in the town of Little Winging. As is tradition, he is kept in complete isolation from the wizarding world. He is strictly forbidden from communicating with his friends, receiving letters, or even mentioning magic. Harry's life is reduced to constant humiliation, tedious chores, and a complete absence of any joyful moments. However, this unbearable routine is suddenly and dramatically interrupted by the appearance of an unusual, strange, and deeply distressed guest, the house elf Dobby. Dobby, despite his respectful and somewhat theatrical manner of speaking, appears exceptionally miserable, frightened, and physically exhausted. His tennis ball-sized eyes are filled with sorrow, and his ears droop. He begins to fervently and desperately beg Harry not to return to Hogwarts, convincing him that a great, deadly danger awaits him at school this academic year, threatening his very life. Dobby, driven by his own, albeit clumsy and destructive, reasoning, tries by all means to prevent Harry from going to school, resorting to odd and sometimes ruinous methods. He even makes Aunt Petunia's festive pudding levitate, then drops it on the guests' heads, leading to a terrible scandal. Dobby's goal is for Harry to be punished and locked up permanently. This incident, which almost cost Harry his magical education, leads the Dursleys, who are terrified of magic and any manifestations of sorcery, to board up Harry's bedroom windows with bars, turning it into a veritable prison so he cannot escape. Fortunately, when hope seems almost lost, Harry's loyal friends come to his rescue: Ron, Fred, and George Weasley. They arrive in their father's extraordinary enchanted flying car, a Ford Anglia, which miraculously passed through a magical transformation. The Weasley brothers skillfully extract Harry from the Dursleys' confinement by unscrewing the bars from his window and transport him to the Burrow, the cozy, though somewhat chaotic and leaning house of the Weasley family, which literally breathes magic, having been built with the aid of wizardry. At the Burrow, an unparalleled atmosphere of warmth, sincerity, and absolute friendliness prevails, a complete contrast to the oppressive environment Harry was accustomed to at the Dursleys. Here, for the first time in a long while, Harry feels like part of a true, loving family, where he is valued, respected, and accepted for who he is. He delightedly observes the strange yet so familiar magic that surrounds him. Knitting needles that knit on their own, a clock that shows not time but the location of family members. Premonition of danger, adventures before the start of the school year. As the start of the new school year at Hogwarts approaches, Harry, along with the Weasleys, journeys to Diagon Alley, the bustling, wizarding shopping district, hidden from Muggles, to purchase all the necessary school supplies, textbooks, robes, parchment, and other magical items. There, in the Flourish and Blott's bookstore, they accidentally encounter their school nemesis, the arrogant and conceited Draco Malfoy, and his father, the cold, influential, and dangerous Lucius Malfoy, who serves as a member of the Hogwarts Board of Governors. Lucius openly demonstrates his disdain for the Weasley family, highlighting their financial struggles, their blood traitor status due to their affection for Muggles, and mocking Arthur Weasley for his fascination with Muggle inventions. This creates palpable tension between the families, and a brief but sharp argument erupts between the adults, which Hagrid eventually breaks up. It is also in this bookstore that Harry meets the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, the self-absorbed, boastful, and incredibly popular best-selling author Gilderoy Lockhart. Lockhart seems more concerned with his own fame, absurd autograph sessions, and the sales of his numerous books than with actual knowledge or protecting students from dark forces. His arrogance, excessive self-confidence, and blatant incompetence raise doubts in everyone's minds, except perhaps for Hermione, who blindly adores his heroic feats described in his autobiographies. On their way to platform 9 3/4, from where the Hogwarts Express departs, Harry and Ron encounter unforeseen problems. They cannot pass through the magical barrier onto the platform. Some invisible force blocks their way. In desperation, fearing they will miss the train and be left without schooling for a year, they decide to use the enchanted Ford Anglia car to fly to Hogwarts. Their flight does not end well. They crash into the Whomping Willow, an ancient and dangerous tree growing on the Hogwarts grounds. The willow, known for its aggressive nature, harshly punishes the car for its intrusion, smashing its windows and crumpling its roof. This incident causes a huge scandal and almost leads to their expulsion from school, as they violated the statute of secrecy by appearing in front of Muggles. Professors McGonagall and Snape express their deep disappointment and threaten expulsion, but Dumbledore, as always, demonstrates wisdom and allows them to stay, granting them a final chance. Horror at Hogwarts, the Chamber of Secrets opened and first victims. With the start of the new school year at Hogwarts, a series of strange, chilling, and highly disturbing events begin, plunging the school into a whirlpool of fear and suspicion. The corridors of the ancient castle suddenly begin to display blood-written messages, ominously foreshadowing doom. The very first and most sinister message, the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the heir, beware, appears next to the first victim, the school caretaker Filch's cat, Mrs. Norris, who is mysteriously found petrified. Soon after, students born to Muggle parents, the so-called mudbloods, as well as other living beings like Colin Creevey, Justin Finch-Fletchley, and nearly headless Nick, are similarly found petrified. This message and the subsequent attacks cause genuine panic among students and faculty, as the Chamber of Secrets is an ancient legend that no one took seriously, considering it merely a scary tale for first years. Suspicions about the identity of the Slytherin heir fall on Harry when he accidentally discovers his rare and unusual ability to speak to snakes. He is a Parselmouth. This gift, as is known, is hereditary and peculiar only to the lineage of Salazar Slytherin, one of the founders of Hogwarts, who was renowned for his disdain for Muggle-born wizards and advocated for pure blood supremacy. Harry unknowingly uses this ability during a dueling club, which only intensifies the rumors and fear surrounding him. This suspicion is further fueled when Harry finds Tom Riddle's old diary, a former Hogwarts student who attended 50 years ago. The diary mysteriously seems connected to the first opening of the Chamber of Secrets, which occurred during that time. Harry notices that the diary is blank, but when he begins to write in it, the pages respond, revealing Tom Riddle's memories, dangerous investigation, and the search for Slytherin's heir. Harry, Ron, and Hermione, distrusting the official investigation, which is conducted somewhat chaotically and fruitlessly, begin their own, extremely dangerous inquiry. They suspect that the heir of Slytherin might be their school enemy, Draco Malfoy, whose family is known for its ancient traditions, pure blood status, and contempt for mudbloods. To confirm or refute their suspicions, the friends decide to brew the complex and dangerous Polyjuice potion, which allows them to transform into someone else for a period of time. To do this, they have to secretly steal ingredients from Snape's office and brew the potion in Moaning Myrtle's toilet to avoid attracting attention. Hermione, unfortunately, makes a terrible mistake, accidentally using cat hair instead of human. She intended to transform into Millicent Bulstrode, and transforms into a half-human, half-cat creature, forcing her to spend an extended period in the hospital wing, where she is treated for this horrifying transformation. Harry and Ron, having transformed into Crabbe and Goyle, Malfoy's two cronies respectively, infiltrate the Slytherin common room. However, from their conversation with Draco, they discover that he is not the heir of Slytherin, but he knows that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened before and that it led to the death of a student, although he doesn't know who. Meanwhile, the situation at Hogwarts continues to rapidly worsen. More and more students are mysteriously petrified, including Hermione Granger herself, which comes as a huge shock to Harry and Ron. Hermione is found in the hospital wing, petrified with a mirror in her hand. Before being petrified, Hermione, despite her perilous situation, manages to leave a crucial clue, a torn page from a book, on which is written about the basilisk and its deadly gaze, which kills those who look directly into its eyes. She also made notes about the basilisk traveling through the plumbing pipes. The basilisk turns out to be the terrifying creature dwelling in the Chamber of Secrets, attacking victims by looking into their eyes. Those who looked at the basilisk indirectly, through a mirror, water, or a camera lens, like Colin Creevey, were merely petrified, not killed, which explains why the victims remained alive. Ginny's kidnapping and the desperate opening of the Chamber of Secrets. When Ron's youngest sister, the sweet, shy, and vulnerable Ginny Weasley, is kidnapped and taken to the Chamber of Secrets, it becomes absolutely clear that time is running out and immediate action is required. Furthermore, a new, even more chilling blood-written message appears on the wall. Her skeleton will lie in the chamber forever. This message signifies that the victim, this time Ginny, will be dead. Harry and Ron, following Hermione's clues, the paper about the basilisk, and noticing that spiders are fleeing the castle into the Forbidden Forest, decide to follow them, despite Dumbledore's prohibition. In the forest, they encounter Aragog, a giant, blind acromantula, and a longtime friend of Hagrid. Aragog tells them that Hagrid was wrongly accused of opening the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago, and that a creature lives in it that spiders fear deadly and never utter its name. Upon returning to the castle, Harry and Ron learn that the Hogwarts Board of Governors, under the influence of Lucius Malfoy, intends to dismiss Hagrid, and Dumbledore has been suspended from his position as headmaster, as it is believed he cannot control the situation and ensure student safety. At this critical moment, Harry finds a new, decisive clue. It's the same Tom Riddle's diary that Harry previously possessed and then mysteriously disappeared. It turns out that Ginny had been constantly writing in it, and it was literally sucking her life force, while simultaneously controlling her and forcing her to do terrible things, such as writing bloody messages and opening the Chamber of Secrets. Thanks to this clue, and a conversation with Moaning Myrtle, Harry and Ron, along with the exposed Lockhart who tried to evade responsibility, realize that the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets is located in the girls' bathroom, where the ghost of Moaning Myrtle, the girl killed by the basilisk years ago, resides. The climax: battle with Slytherin's heir in the Chamber of Secrets. Harry, Ron, and Gilderoy Lockhart, whom Ron forcibly drags with them, as he is a teacher and should be responsible for safety, though he proves utterly incompetent, cowardly, and panic-stricken, descend into the Chamber of Secrets through a secret passage located behind a sink in Myrtle's bathroom. Lockhart, attempting to erase Harry and Ron's memories, miscasts a spell with Ron's broken wand, causing a massive cave-in that separates the friends. Ron stays behind to clear the rubble, while Harry continues alone, entering the enormous, chilling chamber of the Chamber of Secrets, resembling an ancient crypt. There he finds an unconscious Ginny lying on the floor. In the chamber, Harry encounters Tom Riddle, who turns out to be not just a ghost from the diary, but a physically manifested memory brought to life by the dark power of this artifact. Riddle tells Harry his true story. He is the heir of Salazar Slytherin, and his full name is Lord Voldemort. He reveals how 50 years ago he opened the Chamber of Secrets, which led to the death of Moaning Myrtle. At that time, he also framed Hagrid, leading to his unjust expulsion from school. Riddle further explains how, as a mere memory, he manipulated Ginny through the diary, forcing her to open the chamber and unleash the basilisk. His ultimate goal was to return to life, draining Ginny's life force. Riddle summons the basilisk, a gigantic, deadly, and terrifying serpent that serves as Slytherin's weapon, to attack Harry. In a desperate struggle, when Harry feels all is lost and he stands no chance against such a monster, help arrives in the form of Fawkes the Phoenix, Dumbledore's majestic bird, who flies in and brings him the sorting hat. From the hat, to Harry's surprise, emerges the shining sword of Godric Gryffindor, a symbol of courage and nobility. With this sword, Harry, gathering all his bravery and utilizing the basilisk's blindness, Fawkes had pecked out its eyes, slays the basilisk by plunging the sword directly into its mouth. However, during the battle, the basilisk manages to bite Harry's arm, and its deadly venom begins to spread rapidly through his body, leaving him with only minutes to live. In the final moments, as Harry feels the venom paralyzing him, he remembers Dumbledore's words about true Gryffindors always finding help where they least expect it. He realizes that Riddle's diary is the source of his strength and his connection to the living world. Despite the unbearable pain from the venom, he grabs one of the basilisk's massive fangs and pierces Riddle's diary, destroying it and causing Riddle to vanish definitively, dissolving into thin air. Ginny regains consciousness, and Fawkes the Phoenix, a symbol of hope and rebirth, heals Harry with his magical tears, which possess miraculous healing properties and are the only antidote to the basilisk's venom. Aftermath and triumphant resolution. Harry, Ron, and Ginny return to the professors, who had been anxiously waiting for them, unsure if they would return alive. Hagrid is completely exonerated and triumphantly reinstated at school, restoring his good name. Dumbledore, who maintained his faith in Harry and his ability to stand against dark forces, is reinstated as headmaster. Harry tells him about Riddle's diary and exposes Lucius Malfoy as the one who slipped the diary to Ginny, taking advantage of her innocence and vulnerability to discredit Dumbledore and destroy the school from within. At the end of the book, when Lucius Malfoy comes to Dumbledore's office to retrieve Dobby, who had come to warn Harry, Harry confronts him again. He realizes that Lucius is Dobby's cruel master, who abuses the elf and makes him suffer. In a clever move using his old, dirty sock, Harry deceives Lucius into handing the sock to Dobby without realizing the consequences. According to house elf rules, if a master gives an elf clothing, it means their immediate liberation. Dobby becomes a free elf and is eternally grateful to Harry, pledging him unwavering loyalty and assistance. As a sign of his newfound freedom, Dobby even attacks Lucius Malfoy, much to Harry's immense satisfaction. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets concludes with a triumphant victory of good over evil, believes the reader with a deep understanding that the wizarding world is far more complex, dangerous, and filled with hidden threats than it initially appears. This book is also an important story about the necessity of fighting for truth, believing in one's own strength, displaying courage even in the face of mortal danger, and that true bravery is manifested not only in battling monsters but also in the ability to stand against prejudice, injustice, and to fight for the freedom of others. This installment of the saga lays strong foundations for further, even more intense plot developments, hinting that Lord Voldemort will return, and his threat will become even more real and pervasive. Would you like to delve deeper into specific aspects of the book, its characters, or perhaps are you interested in the further chronology of events in the series?